Hello, my Belfast Thousand Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Watcher Wednesday. Yeah. This one is titled, Are You Scared of the Quarry? I played that. I believe that's what this is about, right? I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get into today's story. Let's go ahead, turn them lights down a little, put on something comfy, couple, something special. Let's get creeped out. And we will be getting onto the new Too Many Spirits. Starting in October, we're going to... Each Wednesday will be a new episode of those, so stay tuned for that.
This episode of Are You Scared is brought to you by The Quarry. Available on Sony PlayStation, Xbox consoles, and PC.
It's a good game.
Head to quarrygame.com to buy now.
This video contains content that some might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. The isolation of hiking the countryside can be an invigorating and wonderful experience. A way to get away from everyone or everything.
Oh, yeah.
But while isolation can be rewarding, what if you run into something that preys on it? Tonight, our narrator and her friends find themselves trekking into the heart of Hackett Woods, where, with no map and no signal, they are not alone.
I'm Ryan Bergara, and this is Are You Scared? A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's see if we can make it till the end of the night.
Let's do it.
A hike will be fun, Devin said. You remember fun, right? I wanted to punch him when he said that. I should have punched him. I should have kicked him and punched him and told him to never talk to me again. Because this isn't fun. This might be hell. Still, Devin was giddy as he drove us and his two buddies further and further into the sticks. How often do we have zero cell service anymore? This is fun. I told him if he kept bringing up fun, we'd see how fun it was being a guy who had zero sexual service anymore.
What? Sexual service?
That's right. This is a couple.
Oh, I see. You like a hike?
It depends. Like a real hike, yeah, but like Runyon Canyon, when you just see people taking Instagram pictures and like walking their dog.
Yeah,
and stuff
LA
like
hikes
that.
suck.
Not great.
They're
Not
no
all
good.
of them.
They're bad.
There's some good ones.
No, they're all bad. They're dusty. They're dry. There's dog turds everywhere. There's people blasting. They got the little USB speakers.
Oh yeah, the Bluetooth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see guys walking around with those.
I mean, I appreciate Bruno Mars. I don't want to hear him when I'm out in the wilderness. I want to hear little birds and crows.
Well, I'm on a hike. I don't really like music. I like listening to God's Ox.
All right. Well, we're off to a good start.
Yeah, great. He stopped talking,
Right.
but kept smiling. Even when I'm mean to him, he's in a good mood. I thought how lucky I was to be with someone who reminded me why I love him even when I'm prickly. Can I still say fun? Snickered Jason from the back seat. I rolled my eyes so hard I'm surprised my nose didn't start bleeding. Jason's the annoying one, the fourth member of our little hiking expedition. Cooper was the other annoying one. They met Devin on Reddit talking about Boner Coin or whatever the latest crypto scam was that wasn't like the others until it ended up just like the others.
Boner coin.
We're in trouble.
It looks like they're all just, they love hiking. They're on one of those like subreddits
Boner
that's like very
coin.
hyper specific.
Yeah, I got a few of those.
And you look like a guy who has a few
I
of those.
just got on the tornado subreddit. You know about my new tornado
For a second
phase.
there, I thought you were talking about NATO subreddit, like you're just a big fan of.
No, I'm talking about
the
twisters.
treaty.
I'm talking about God's ropes. You know what I'm talking about?
What do you talk about on tornado subreddit?
Just tornadoes.
You're chiming in on these like regularly?
I'm chiming, yeah. And that and the popcorn subreddit.
At least with this one, Devin got some real life friends in exchange for his lost $5,000. Holy hell, did you see that? Cooper spun around, staring out the back window at the damp road behind us. Devin glanced into the rear view, while Jason and I turned in our seats. Behind us was nothing but empty road and looming trees. I don't see anything. muttered Jason. Cooper turned back around, shaking his head. There was an animal. I think it was a bear. Are there bears around here? His question was for Jason, who apparently grew up not too far from Hackett Woods and was serving as our de facto trail master. I think so, maybe? Not the most confident of answers, but that's never stopped any crypto bro I've ever met.
I love all the crypto digs here.
She really doesn't like crypto.
This, I gotta say, now you've seen some horror films, and I have too.
I have, yes.
We've seen them. Sounds like all these people are gonna die. This sounds like the classic sort of, hey, here's the gang.
This has the cadence of classic pre-murder banter. We get an idea of who the people are. One of them likes crypto, one of them hates bears. Me too.
Yeah.
One of them
It's unfair to be a
girlfriend that's
bear.
kind of stuck in the situation.
Yeah.
There probably is a burnout in here somewhere.
Oh, big time.
You know, and all of them are gonna die a horrible death, and a killer's gonna wear their spine as a belt.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly you're supposed to be able to save them all. I have not. The one in the cage always dies. I don't know why. If you haven't played it, play it. It's a good game. It is. If you like where you choose the story, like, you know, your actions actually have consequences and repercussions, like literally. It's good. I like it.
Cooper sounds like a name that would die first.
Yeah, because I can imagine someone going, oh, Cooper!
Yeah. They shouldn't bother us, though. I've definitely never seen any on this hike. And when was the last time you did this hike?
Killed
Maybe
the
he could hear the
Coopster.
skepticism in my voice. 15 years ago-ish, I don't remember. It's kind of a brutal hike, but it's worth it. When we get to the top, the trees go all the way to the horizon. You can watch the wind travel across the tops. It feels like the forest is breathing. Actually, hearing that sentence now, I realize that the hiking subreddit is probably just as insufferable as a crypto subreddit.
It's always people being like, yeah, I guess my morning view isn't too bad. And it's a video of someone opening their tent door and looking out at Yellowstone.
Just pictures of like the same kind of woodsy horizon going, oh, today's office. You know?
Guess I'll camp here for the night. How'd I do, Reddit?
As much as I wanted to dislike these clowns in the back, what Jason described did sound amazing. Maybe even fun. Stop the car, stop the car. Jason suddenly shouted from the back. Devin slammed on the brakes. All of our backpacks slid forward in the back, and we came to a stop in the middle of the road. That was the trailhead. Pull over anywhere. We looked around. There wasn't anywhere to pull off, not even a shoulder. You're sure? Where do people park? Devin asked. Anywhere, just pull off the road. Devin shot me an uneasy glance, but I shrugged. These were his buddies. This was his fun. Devin pulled a graceless U-turn and found a clearing behind a road sign saying the next town was 27 miles away. We hopped out of the car and stretched our legs. The forest air was crisp, and everything had a fresh hanging dampness to it. Where's this trailhead? Cooper asked, stepping out to the middle of the road and slowly turning in a circle. All I could see were trees, tall, dark, forbidding. And in the air, faint, was the smell of burning wood. Are we near a cabin? I asked. I doubt it, said Jason, tossing his bag over his shoulder. No one lives out here. Jason strode out next to Cooper
Well,
in the
people
road,
live out there.
then scanned the woods. Let's see, I just saw it there. I don't know what he saw. To me, it looked like a random opening in the trees, but Jason started confidently marching across the road and into the forest with Cooper following.
It just occurred to me, I don't know, how tight are these bros? Are these tight bros?
Well, this is like one of those things where like you meet people IRL for the first time. You've only known them as online folks. Wait, you're suggesting that one of them could be crazy.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not meeting someone on the internet and someone says, hey, we just met on the internet. Would you like to go to the woods?
And also, like, we start saying there's no
He's
signs for
got
the
a point
trailhead. It's like,
there.
it's right through here.
Yeah.
That's it right there. And you look and it just looks like trees and you're like, what
Yeah.
is this? What's right over there? Your killing station?
Right?
Ready for some FUN? Devin asked. Lead the way, I replied. For
Does
an
seem
hour,
like
we
there should
trekked
be
through
some
Hackett
red
woods without
flags
even stopping for
everywhere.
water. We didn't need it. The woods themselves were invigorating. Jason was right. The way wasn't easy. It seemed like we were barely on a
If
path
you
at
played
all,
the game, you know
ducking
why.
under branches and squeezing through small openings, but we never felt lost. It felt like the woods were excited to welcome us in, like we had a slight wind to our back, like we were being inhaled into the heart of the woods.
These do not sound like experienced hikers.
I prefer a trail.
Yeah. You ever get any poison oak or anything? You get any of that?
No,
Ever gotten any of that?
no.
It's itchy.
I mean, don't you just stay away from it? Like, how did you...
Leaves of 3, leave them be.
Wham! I was staring up at the
It's
canopy
true.
when Devin stopped, causing me to slam into his backpack. I peered around Devin, then Cooper, up at Jason at the front of our line. He'd stopped dead in his tracks, muttering something I couldn't hear. Cooper turned and looked at Devin and I, his face a sickly green. Someone else go second, he said as he worked his way back to the back. With Cooper behind me, I could see why he was sick. What are we about to see here?
Here's what I would think either like a rotting
Dead
animal corpse
Yeah.
or a piece of human or sort of a little Blair Witch bundle where it's a bunch of sticks and then what's in it?
I don't think that would make my...
Or a mangled pile of like bones and stuff like that. Like a fresh slaughtered kill that you can't tell if it's human or not. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of blood and some guts and some flesh and a few bones left. And it's like, what the fuck? Maybe it's that.
face goes sickly green.
What would make your face turn green?
Probably like a decapitated head or something. That seems a little hardcore for the beginning of the story. It's probably like a finger. Oh, you know what would be really crazy? Ear, like nailed to a tree. Like just the ear, just like, just right under the tree.
And then other ear on the other side and a nose in the middle and 2 little lips.
Oh, like a Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
In a clearing
Mr.
was the
Potato
bloody
Tree.
carcass of, well, we couldn't tell. Whatever it was, it had been absolutely torn apart. Bones were broken and scattered as if a bomb had gone off. Blood had pooled on the ground, but also splattered up the trunks of trees. My eyes followed one line of gore, and my breath caught in my throat. Dangling from a branch was a 3-foot-long section of intestine.
That's a lot. Well, I guess 3 feet isn't that long.
I mean, this also does sound like the work of a bear, who, as we know, are godless killing machines.
I don't think they tear you apart that much.
I think they do.
I think they get their bites in and then they move
Well, you
on.
think they're putting on a little napkin like this and a fork and knife and cutting you up all nice
go
and
for
neat?
the
I've
throat.
seen Yogi.
That sounds like throat material.
Well, it sounds like the whale that they blew up with dynamite. That sounds like that thing was obliterated.
Well, let's see what did this. Guess we can confirm there are bears. Devin shook his head. At least it's not fresh, Cooper added. I understood what he meant. Whatever had done this was probably long gone, but I could have done without the mat of black flies swarming over the remains, with some getting dangerously close to landing in my hair. Let's keep moving, Jason said, trying to tiptoe around the gore. We're halfway there. Halfway or a third, maybe. By
We're
the way,
there. We're
let's
getting
not
there.
keep
We're
moving.
somewhere.
Let's turn around and go back to the car.
I'd probably turn around at that point. Yeah.
Who sees remains that look like that and intestines that are hanging off a tree like a Christmas ornament and decides,
Yeah,
better
I'd be
move
ready
forward?
to turn around.
Once we were past the carcass, we tried to rediscover our carefree attitude, but it was gone. Jason was still leading, with Devin following, me next, and Cooper pulling up the rear.
Cooper's done for. Cooper in the rear.
Cooper's over it.
Goodbye, Cooper.
Yeah, you want to be in the middle.
Middle's good.
Actually, that's not true. You want to be in the rear. If you're at the front of the line and you see the bear in front of you, you have to turn around and run, but now there's a bunch of idiots behind you, and you have to kind of like, juke around them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the rear, clear paths to run.
Yeah, but also, you get snatched, people don't even notice.
I think they would.
I'm thinking beyond bears here. I'm thinking ghouls.
If I'm in the rear, I'm also banking that the enemy will be coming from the front. If the enemy came from the back, then I'm... but
done
I
for.
guess, like, you want to take that gamble. Because
I'm firmly in the middle. It's a Shane sandwich, baby.
Strangely, the smell of smoke never left. No matter the direction of the wind, no matter our elevation, the subtle acrid odor was always hanging in the background, as if it were part of the trees themselves. Maybe it was the smell playing tricks on my brain, but I could have sworn I heard crackling, like we were next to a log fire, not out in Hackett Woods. Hey guys? Cooper's whisper took us aback. We were in the middle of nowhere. He could have screamed at the top of his lungs and no one would have heard him. What?
But there's
Jason shouted
someone,
back,
right?
teasing Cooper. Cooper looked around nervously, then picked up with his whisper. I think there's someone else on the trail. What did he say? Jason wasn't being funny. He actually couldn't hear. Someone's coming up behind us, Devin said. Well, we've made good progress. Let's get some water and let them pass. I'm pretty cavalier right now, by the way.
I mean, especially because it sounds like they're not on a very marked trail.
No.
They're sort of making their own way in the woods.
I think
concerning.
carcass, strike one.
Carcass, strike one.
Bad trail, strike two. I feel like at this point I'm on high alarm. I'm not thinking, let's let these people pass. I'm probably readying the machete in my pocket.
I feel like if everyone got their
Got you.
knives out and just like held them out, and that's how you let them pass. You say, go on.
Is that how you let people pass every time you do a hike?
Yeah. What's the matter?
Get.
Go get.
We moved off the trail,
Yeah,
if you
well,
wanted to
now
call
how-
it that. Deer path would be closer, and sipped our water, waiting. But no one came. There was no one behind us. I swear I heard someone behind us, claimed Cooper. Walking behind us. Jason snickered. Yeah, I assumed walking.
Come on,
Thanks.
Coop.
Cooper paused, then drank some more water. Well, it kind of sounded like they were crawling. Crawling? Like on all fours? Like it might have been a bear? After seeing that mutilated
was.
carcass, I wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Cooper shook his head. No, it wasn't that big. It sounded clumsy. Maybe a baby deer? I kept looking over my shoulder, but there was nothing, except sometimes I thought I caught a glimpse. Cooper lowered his voice back to a whisper. I think it's hiding from us.
I like that.
Smeagol?
I like it too.
They catch a Smeagol out in the wild?
A little Smeagol out there.
That would delight me if I just heard like a little whispered, precious. I don't like something crawling, by the way.
No, it's unnerving.
Yeah, because I don't imagine there's a baby out there. That would be freaky, though. Can you imagine just
A
seeing
real fast baby.
No, just seeing a
Like
baby
the
crawling
forest?
around in the middle of the woods?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because it's
Like
like,
the
how did
Forest
that
and
baby
Sons on the
survive?
Forest?
Especially if the baby's big.
Fucking baby.
Yeah, were you like a big
I'm telling
baby?
you.
I was
I
a
was
pretty
big baby.
pretty big baby,
You
too.
you big baby?
I was a big baby.
Yeah.
Still a big baby. That's when I saw her. Behind Cooper, 20 feet back in the forest, a pale, emaciated woman suddenly darted between two trees.
Don't like it. That's the worst thing it could be, honestly, is an old witch lady.
A pale, emaciated woman?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like that.
Mainly because if they're
Some
emaciated,
kind of
how are they
Slender
moving so
Man looking
fast?
Goonie
If I
monster
saw that
shit.
lady in the forest, I'd poop myself until I died.
That's right. Shane
I would've
would
threw
foam his
my poop
diapers,
at her.
baby.
Yep.
I blinked and shifted, waiting for her to move again. But she didn't. She was hiding behind the second tree. I think I see her, I said as I crept towards the tree. Hello? I called out. I felt the hair on my arms stand on end. A trickle ran down my neck, as if an unseen pair of fingers were walking along my shirt collar. I noticed that the smell of smoke had gotten stronger, but I no longer heard any crackling. Instead, barely louder than the breeze, as if she was only an inch from my ear, I heard a woman's voice whisper, "Not again." The words made me spin. I looked back at the guys who were all staring at me in return. Looking at their eyes, I saw Jason and Devin were confused, but Cooper looked terrified. I turned back to the tree and let out another, hello? Nothing.
See, this is when they all need to team up, get their knives out. Everyone should have honestly brought 2 pocket knives, because I'm
Right.
thinking if you have 1 pocket knife, you know, you're like, hey, stay away from me. If you got 2 pocket knives, you just go like this toward the
true.
lady.
Yeah, you
All 4 or 5 of you charging at her, going like this.
Yeah.
Or you could do circles.
I guess the woman has not threatened them in any way. It could be someone who's scared of them.
I disagree.
I mean, her only crime is being emaciated and creepy and smelling like campfire.
She's crawling
That's
through the
creepy.
forest and hiding behind trees while she stares at them.
That's
I feel
true.
like
the Blair Witch.
hike law,
Yeah.
that's against probably common decency out there in the woods. And
Yeah, don't do
you do
that.
that, you're likely to get cut.
This is stupid, I muttered,
Or shot.
trying to convince myself I meant it. With a confident step, I closed the distance and looked behind the tree, coming face to face with nothing. There's no one here, I yelled to the guys and walked back. I guess I'm seeing things. Jason and Devin nodded. Cooper didn't. All right, well, now we know there isn't a bear following us. I've got to piss. I'll be right back. Jason took a couple steps into the woods when suddenly, from behind us, a
Looks like
rustling.
actual clips from the game.
Don't just like take like the first sign of maybe there's something not wrong and then be like, let's break horror movie rule number 1 and break off from the group.
What you need is a
Right.
buddy, a pee pal.
I would never let you go pee in the woods unless I was with you.
Same. You know what we would do? We would go out there
That's
and
sweet.
just sort of lock our arms back to back while we peed. We could spin while we do it.
There. Devin pointed
Like a
not the way we
sprinkler
came,
system?
but off to his side. I see her. Hey! Devin started charging into the woods. Dev, wait! I marched after him. Wait for me! Cooper chased after. I saw her go right behind this. Devin dove behind a tree, but there was nothing. What was that? Devin suddenly asked me. I shrugged. I didn't say anything. You didn't whisper? You heard her whisper too? Muttered Cooper. Apparently, we'd all heard it. Dev, I'm not having FUN, I confessed. Let's have Jason take us back. We walked back to the path, but there was no sign of Jason. We called out to him over and over for a half
Jason's
hour.
dead.
No response. We were never more than 10 yards away from where he'd gone to pee, but he was suddenly nowhere within earshot. Making matters worse, we suddenly could not figure out the direction where we'd come from. We were lost in Hackett's Woods. I don't feel bad for Jason because he made the mistake of going to pee by himself after they just saw a bony lady running
Right.
around the woods.
Well,
This
maybe
is
he
all
really had to
stupidity.
pee. Honestly, if you have to pee that bad and there's a bone woman out there, just pee by your friends.
That's right.
Turn your back to them. Say, vibe with this.
We were lost in Hackett's Woods. Let's just get back to the road, I said.
Exactly.
We can call for help from there. With Cooper leading, we started heading in the direction he was, quote, pretty sure he could hear traffic in. I pulled out my phone just in case I suddenly had service, but no luck. 0 bars. For an hour we marched, trying to find some clue that we were headed in the right direction. What's that? Cooper suddenly turned around to face us and pointed back behind himself. There on the ground was a hard white object. At first I thought it was an old-timey telephone receiver, until I saw the teeth. It was a jawbone. Must be from a fox or something, Devin reasoned. A fox? I repeated skeptically. What else could it be? It's too small to be a bear. A deer, maybe? Maybe. How would I know what a deer's jaw looked like? Maybe deer have jawbones that
Maybe
look
it's your pee
suspiciously
friend.
like a human's. We'd been
Maybe
in the
he
woods
was
for hours
peeing
now.
and a hand reached up and grabbed him by his jaw and just ripped off his jewel and threw it in the woods. And now that's why you can't hear him hollering for you, because he's walking and going like that. That's what it is. I solved the mystery.
And the sun wasn't going to be up for much longer. The three of us must have had the same unspoken fear. What happens if we're still out here when it's dark?
Do you
Don't
think
be.
these dum-dums can't recognize a human jawbone, or do you think they're like,
Because if the woods are thick enough before it starts getting dark outside the woods, it's going to be much darker inside the woods. Does that make sense? Did I say it's stupid? I might have said it's stupid, but it's fine. But that's just my experience. Like, I've been hiking through the woods and it's like, wow, it's really starting to get dark. Start heading back, get out of the really thick, dense trees. And it's like, oh shit, I still got like 3 hours. What the fuck? It gets darker in the woods, bro.
like
Do you think you
that's
could recognize a
yeah,
jawbone?
for sure. I mean, certainly different than a fox or a deer. A deer jawbone.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never seen it. So
You've never seen a skeleton?
I've seen a human skeleton, but I like the jawbone specifically. Like it could be just like a part of it. I guess they did see the teeth. Yeah, I guess it would be pretty easy to identify a human
Yeah.
jawbone. Guys, Cooper, now in the back of our line, sounded quiet and afraid. When's the last time you noticed a bird? Devin stopped, and I pulled out the last of my water.
Hate that.
We all
I
held our
hate it when
breaths
people do
and
that.
listened.
Man, what? We don't even hear no birds. I ain't heard no cricket. I ain't even heard a cricket, bro.
But Cooper was right. In an area of the forest that should have been teeming with birdsong, there was nothing, not even a chirp. In its place was a sound that made my skin crawl. It sounded like a woman yelling, wailing, but miles away. You know what's scary about the woods?
Tell me. There's a lot of scary
Oh
things
no,
about
but this
the
is
woods.
one of the scariest parts of the woods.
All right.
When you hear loud noises, particularly like let's say a scream, you have no idea what direction it's coming from.
Oh,
Or what it actually is. There's a lot of creatures in the woods, bro, and they can sound when you're up close, it's one thing, but whenever you put some distance in between you and whatever's making the noise, by the time that noise gets to you and carries and bounces off of this tree, off of that rock and everything else, no, for one, you really don't know the exact precise direction it's coming from. You don't even know what it actually is because it can sound completely different by the time it reaches you. So what you could think is a mountain lion could maybe actually be potentially a person out there needing help in all kinds of shit. Then again, the person you think that's out there needing help that's in all kinds of shit could be a mountain lion or a cougar or a really large eagle. You never know.
Sure, the acoustics of
Because the
the
acoustics,
forest, yeah.
there's no directionality to any of the noise.
Yeah.
So it's not even helpful to hear, like, say, help, because all it does is make you now scared of why that person needs help because you have no idea where they're coming from.
I really can't think of anything scarier than hearing a scream in the woods.
Especially if it's continuous.
Yeah.
The scream never let up. It was constantly renewed, like someone gasping while being tortured, screaming either for help or death. Then, the scream that sounded miles away suddenly sounded like it was moving closer, like it was down the block, then across a street, then next door. No, no, Cooper took off running. Cooper, Devin yelled and gave chase. I had no option but to follow. I felt my heartbeat in my throat as we cut through the trees, branches seemingly reaching for my eyes to blind me, logs appearing out of nowhere to trip me. Still, I fought through, making sure to keep Devin in my vision. If I lost him, suddenly he stopped, frozen and ice white. I looked around, but there was no sign of Cooper. Then I looked down at what halted Devin in his tracks. Slumped against a tree was Jason, staring up at us with no lower jaw.
Jason!
Did I call that shit? Did I fucking call that shit? I'm a reaction god. I literally said, what if it came up and just ripped off his bottom jaw and threw it? And he's just walking around going, and I was fucking right, bro.
Oh shoot! Looks like he peed his last pee. Hope it was worth it.
No lower jaw.
He can still
Slumped
be alive.
against a tree was Jason, staring
You don't have
up
to
at
have a jaw
us
to be
with
alive-
no
to
lower
die,
jaw.
man. Like,
The front of his
that's not gonna
shirt
kill
drenched
you.
in blood that had poured out from the bottom of his face. We have to get out of here, Devin managed.
I think we should maybe go.
That's the first thing he says when he sees his new
We can
pal
all
with no
finally
jaw.
agree.
We gotta get out of here, guys. I think the party's over. We looked around the woods for any sign of a direction to head in. It seemed to me that every tree was hiding someone or something behind it. The corners of my eye were filled with movement, like I was always just missing catching someone darting for cover. I couldn't trust my eyes. I couldn't trust my ears. And
Can't
that
trust
burning
anything.
smell, I couldn't even trust my nose.
It's all out
So
to
I
get you.
started running, with Devin following me. This sounds like me in any of our individual investigations for Ghost Files.
Yeah, you start to lose it.
I start to see things that maybe aren't there unless they're caught on camera.
That's what we call the vision.
Or we call it a ghost, because sometimes we catch it on camera. But I do start to feel like my eyes play tricks on me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
this is a classic case of the forest crazies.
That's right. I ran as hard as I could for as long as I could, trying to ignore the growing whispers in my ears. Not again, the woman's voice said. Not ever again. How is she doing that? I guess she's a forest witch, so she's like whispering. It'd be funnier if she said things that were non-threatening. You know, like, yo quiero Taco Bell. Are you hearing that voice?
Yeah.
I yelled over my shoulder as the sun set behind the trees, but Devin was gone. If he'd fallen, he would have yelled. Same if he needed a break or thought he saw something. How long had I been sprinting alone? Sounds like Devin needs to work on his cardio. I could outrun you in the woods, so I wouldn't have to worry about that.
You got little legs.
Yeah, but they
got
go pretty
little tiny
fast.
baby
They
legs.
go pretty fast.
Not fast enough.
And your long legs lumber.
Gerbils go
You're
pretty
more like
fast,
you're
too.
more like a lumberer.
Yeah, you're a little tiny baby.
And I feel like I could.
You're a little baby.
I
You
got
baby
more
legs.
cardio.
You got baby
than you.
legs.
I think I got more cardio
I bound
than you.
like the BFG.
Devin, I shouted and listened for a reply, but I knew I wouldn't hear anything. It seems this
shame.
forest only lets me hear what it wants me to hear. I looked around the woods. It felt like the whole forest was churning with activity.
But he does kind of like have a stork body. He could probably just take off running and fly away if his coach, good enough. Just see Shane gliding through the sky with nothing but like a windbreaker going, "Not today, bitches." That'd be hilarious.
As if I was trying to make out a school of sharks through choppy water. I sensed a threat, but I couldn't see it. What would I do even if I could? I picked a direction and started trudging through the trees. At some point, I turned my phone's flashlight on to fight against the dusk. At least the thing could still do that without any service. After what
Right.
felt like hours, suddenly the trees thinned out and I stumbled onto a road. Relief flooded my body. I was out of Hackett.
You should always download your YouTube playlist. That way you don't have to deal with it whenever you don't have internet. You could have been out there listening to some Bill 5000 in the middle of the woods.
Woods. I could find the car. I could get help.
I don't trust it. Never trust
I
a
don't
road.
trust nothing.
You know that this is a classic like third act. Where it seems like you found salvation.
And it's
At least
actually
in
a
a
fake
road,
road.
there's
Or
no
the
tree
driveway
cover
to
to
the
hide
murderer's
things.
house.
That's true. A witch on a road, less scary than a witch in the woods.
Then I saw her.
Road witches.
The woman. No longer hiding. Standing in the middle of the road.
I was wrong.
That's pretty scary
That's
still.
scary.
I still think that's pretty scary.
Never mind.
I was about to say, it's not as creepy as her hiding, but her just standing like
Yeah, that's a bold move.
holding Jason's jawbone.
What you talking
Yeah.
about?
Gaunt, ash white, and horrible black eyes. I turned and took off running down the road, no idea what direction I was heading. I kept looking back, and it seemed the woman was always the same distance behind me. She wasn't running. Always she was just standing there, but always only 50 feet away. It's like the classic boogeyman. Like, they're
Right.
walking slow, but they somehow keep up with people that are sprinting. Like Jason or Michael Myers aren't fast.
No.
After a few minutes, I spotted it, the sign for the town 27 miles away, the one we'd parked behind. I dove for the driver's handle, only to realize Devin had the keys. I crouched behind the car, and
Ain't
here
that
I
some
am
fucking
now.
shit?
If anyone finds this, I am not having fun. I'm sitting by the road, waiting for a car, a truck, anything to come by. I'm too afraid to look over the car and see if the woman is there, but I'm sure she is. The whole time I've been crouched here, her whispers have felt only inches away. Not again. Not ever again.
So, are you scared?
Oh, yeah, that was
Well, that's
good,
a scary
man.
one. That's a scary one, folks. Be careful out there in the woods. You never know what you're going to run into.
I think the lesson here is don't ever meet up with people on the internet, especially if it's on a subreddit about the woods. Recommend not taking a solo pee, by the way, if that's an option.
Always go with a P-pal.
Pee pals for life.
You and me.
Poo partners.
That's right. Okay, so that story was inspired by the video game The Quarry, which you can actually play. It actually has over 180 different endings based on the choices you make in the game. So perhaps you folks out there can make better choices than these numbskulls.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna make bad choices?
I don't know.
No,
you're
is the
sadistic.
lady
You're one of those
chasing
people that
supposed
likes
to be
to,
the
like,
lady
you
that
put
kind of helps
people
you on
in
the
front
way
of,
that
the
come to
roller
find
coaster
out
and
that she's
roller
not
coaster tycoon.
really?
I mean, I did some pretty sick stuff in The Sims. So yeah, we're gonna get twisted with this one.
Yeah, you're gonna try and
The
marry
one that
that
where you have
witch.
to find the
gonna
little
marry
cards
that
and shit
witch.
for. I don't know. I really like the game though. Like, it's a good game. And I can kind of see that leading up to the game. If you've played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, I don't want to ruin it for you. Go play it. It's a good game. All right. I really enjoyed today's video. That was badass. If you enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. While you're down there going over, slap that subscribe button. Become part of the B5 Nation. We do some crazy stuff here. If you want to know when that crazy stuff happens, ding the bell and turn on all post notifications. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Yeah. I would just flopped it out and started pissing right there. Like, if anyone had a problem with it, that would have been the person that got eaten, not me. You got me fucked up.